'Tis the season, the most wonderful time of the year. Celebration with friends and family. It's time to pay tribute to this jolly month. So join us as we get into the Christmas spirit. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but this is Venom on the Shelf.
So this little dickhead Beckett wants to eliminate all pirates of the sea, even enlisting Davy Jones to help him. Captain Jack Sparrow is rescued from his warped purgatory and the fight is on between pirates and the racists. Barbossa versus Davy Jones, with Will and Elizabeth's arc ending perfectly. What a trilogy this was. I'm so glad they didn't follow suit of other franchises and just fuck it up with the 4th installment.
Well, when you put it that way.
Director Gore Verbinski wanted to use the last film to keep the plot moving, while this installment was to be used as a character piece. The writers wanted to continue the trend of not only creating fictitious characters of their own, but also introducing well-known mythological beings, bringing in Calypso, who I was disappointed to find out was not in fact the pop drink.
Calypso.
But she is a literal nymphomaniac in Greek mythology. And yeah, I'd say they nailed it. Or they nailed her.
Out of the question.
The movie takes place in 18th century Singapore, but unfortunately a good chunk of this era hasn't actually been widely documented. So the filmmakers had to pretty much make it up using Chinese and Malaysian cities from around that same time as reference. The big climax battle was actually filmed in an air hangar with the entire cast wearing wetsuits underneath their costumes. Furthermore, the set had to be kept in freezing cold temperatures in order to prevent bacteria sneaking inside and affecting the cast. They were genuinely freezing their tits off.
Well, not bad.
The movie did receive some criticism as it was originally 3 hours long, though the producers defended it, claiming that it was needed to fairly end the trilogy and build up the final act. Naturally, to continue the trend, it was a massive financial success, becoming the highest grossing film that year. Some fans loved it, preferring it to the previous film, finding it more inventive with its story, while others find it overkill, and that the series had run its course. I mean, you can tell it's a Disney movie when it opens with countless people being hanged to death. A bit biased though, aren't they? Everyone gets executed immediately, but when a child is up there, they hesitate. But this is the confusing part of the film for me. They sing this song, which means they need to get all the 9 pirate lords, yeah, there's pirate lords now, to hold the brethren court. But I mean, aren't pirates supposed to be these rebellious thieves? I've already covered this with the first movie. Sometimes they obey rules, then other times they say no, they're just guidelines, then they have to follow rules, now they have lords. Alright, that's a little funny.
That sort of thinking got us into this mess.
The shocking thing is, this is actually based on real history. During the 17th and 18th centuries, there genuinely was a real-life council of pirates across the seas. So, I guess I'll shut up, but it still makes no sense. Like the fact there's another song straight after this one.
Bell has been raised.
Is this a fucking musical?
Dangerous song to be singing for any who are ignorant of its meaning, particularly a woman.
How did you possibly know that she's a woman? I mean, she has a hat on. Oh, and if you think I'm going to be any nicer to Keira Knightley, you could do one. 3 movies and she's still terrible. You know the drill. She has one face, nothing is remotely convincing. She's trash and it's amazing she's ever had a career. It's fascinating how little talent is shown when she's on screen. It's incredible how this one person can convey absolutely nothing whatsoever on her entire stupid face. It's brilliant. It's like the director has given her an emotion and she's genuinely confused as to what that word means. Alright, Keira, now look half tired, half bored. Yes. Just look like you don't give a shit anymore. Not that you did to begin with.
Father! Father, look here!
Christ, Keira, settle down! Don't overexert yourself! Fucking hell. She can't even just stand still and pretend to be a human being convincingly. But to be fair, she does hide a gun up her ass. Makes sense why she always looks incredibly uncomfortable. She's even face to face with the person who may be responsible for her father's death and seems more like she's confronting a cashier who shortchanged her.
You murdered my father.
Barbossa is a joy to have back. Jeffrey Rush is so damn charismatic. He is an awesome villain and a thrill anytime he's on screen. And if you're wondering how he's alive again, something pirate magic.
Barbossa was only dead.
Who cares? It's great to have him back.
It is true.
The funny thing is, Barbossa was never actually supposed to have a first name, but during a cast commentary of the original film, Johnny Depp jokingly said it was Hector, and the fans ran with it so much the filmmakers had to include it.
Jeffrey Rush. Hector Barbossa.
Cheers, Johnny! The battle scenes continue to impress, even implanting funny little blink you miss it moments like this. The music is always spectacular. They capture the real charm of the movies, and Hans Zimmer does a fantastic job. The films are so much fun, and this one is no exception. We've obviously seen Davy Jones and Barbossa before, but now we have Beckett, and my god, he is a great villain. Not because he's as charismatic or as intimidating as the other two, but because he's such a smarmy little shitface you are begging for him to die. He does a great job. I have to admit though, after 3 films, Orlando Bloom does start to get better. Granted, sometimes I can't tell if he's actually good or if he just looks good because he's next to the shithead queen, so he looks better by comparison. But this is a massive improvement. Well done, Orlando. Took you long enough, but better late than never.
Why should I expect any better?
But you know what's better than 1 Captain Jack Sparrow? About 30 Captain Jack Sparrows?
What say you about the condition of this tack line?
It be proper to my eyes, sir.
Proper? It is neither proper nor suitable, sir. It is not acceptable nor adequate. It is in obvious fact an abomination.
This is complete nonsense and goes on for some time, but fuck me, it's fun. Johnny Depp is having a blast and he nails this. The effects of them all is pretty damn impressive. It's definitely worth the 30 minutes before seeing the guy, because let's face it, Depp's back must ache from carrying this fucking franchise. I mean, they even acknowledge they're screwed without him.
Leave you people alone for just a minute, look what happens. Everything's gone to pot.
And hey, his dad is Keith Richards, so good for him. Richards allegedly kept showing up to set completely drunk and had to be propped up, but he admitted he was just doing it to be in character, and if they wanted someone to play it completely straight, they picked the wrong man.
Savage.
But the worst part of Davy Jones's locker is Jack finding an old enemy. The look of the place is great. It looks so different to the rest of the film, but maintains the great cinematography, even if Jack has crabs. It's hilarious when he sees Barbossa alive for the first time. He thinks he's hallucinating, so he doesn't even question it. Jack and Barbossa have amazing chemistry, and Depp admitted he was ecstatic to find out they were working together again. They had a lot of fun, and they are so funny as they're attempting to work together.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Captain gives orders on the ship.
The captain of the ship is giving orders.
My ship makes me captain.
They be my charts.
That makes you chart man.
It's good to have this guy back as well. He's always hilarious.
You left Jack to the Kraken.
Give it 5 minutes, you'll hate him again.
I hate him.
See? Elizabeth's dad dies. I know. Anyway, the movie is great, but man, there are so many bizarre moments that you can't help but feel the writers were definitely on something when they wrote it.
There's never a guarantee of coming back.
So thank God they don't do another one of these then.
Impossible.
It's so strange that this is the big finale for the love story, because Will and Elizabeth aren't even a couple in it. They barely even speak, and when they do, they're just argue and are distant. Will is still pissed she smooched Jack, not knowing her true motive. They then maybe exchange 2 words between themselves for the entire movie, and then all of a sudden Barbossa marries them mid-battle. What the fuck? I've read less rushed marriage stories in a Stephanie Meyer book. Oh no, she might drown, how tragic. I'm not really a big fan of the love story between Davy Jones and Calypso. I'm just not really that interested in seeing a giant squid man in love. The visuals are insane. The cinematography and production design are always completely top notch, and the money is certainly well spent. I'll give the useless smegma some credit though. She gives this speech before the big battle and it is delivered really well. Fair play. I think that annoys me more. She's proven she can do it. Why doesn't she try anywhere else? But how brutal is this death? Man, I fucking love Disney. Unfortunately, as much as I love Barbossa, this falls into Star Wars territory now. He has now been resurrected, so any death seems redundant because they can just come back. And if you've seen any movie ever after they rush a wedding randomly, you know of course that one of them is going to die. It is quite sad, but why couldn't it have been Elizabeth? This is still so predictable. Stevie Wonder could have seen this coming in a dark room with no lights or windows. Blindfolded. With his eyes closed. On the moon. at night. But no, they cut out Will's heart so he can live on, cursed on the ship as captive. There is an eerie and atmospheric moment as Beckett wanders his ship. It's a lovely little moment before... And then Jack really secures that PG-13 rating with some dick jokes.
My vessel is magnificent and fierce and huge-ish and gone. Why is it gone?
Is that it there?
Yes, there it is. Why is it there? It's much larger up close.
At World's End, I think, is great. And in a way, better than the first one. Don't get me wrong, the 3 films are all fantastic. I feel like part 2 has a bit more filler, but 1 and 3 are incredible. What I like more about this one is it ties in the previous 2 and really builds itself up as this huge epic finale. It brings all these characters together from the last 2 movies, all these arcs full circle get resolved, and it ends on a fucking massive high note. It's a tremendous trilogy and the perfect ending. That will definitely not be ruined by another movie. What a great trilogy. What a great... It's just such a perfect way to end it. It's just so good.